Hey there, it's Manny Cabrera with Sidekicks Martial Arts and a Life Mastery Program right here in Fishhawk. Hope that you are having an amazing Thursday. It's been kind of an interesting day. I'm always, watching our students and seeing, kind of what's going on with them. And I actually had, a couple of different students this week so far where, they have just been overwhelmed by everything that's been going on, either whether they have been, the stress of doing brick and mortar and, worrying about, whether or not, they are, going to be exposed when they go there, or having to remember to stay distant or keep their masks on, all of those kinds of things, or, whether they're, doing remote learning, and that's kind of, been a tough one for a lot of families, too. And, and then when they get here, they're just, they're ready to rock and roll. They're very excited about, coming to class. And then, just the day starts catching up with them, and, they weren't able to get out of their, maybe out of their own brain space, in order to, practice and do a great job in class. And of course, we help them along to, everything that they do. But, there's a challenge that's going on. And the thing is I think that even beyond, when COVID started and the kids, started e-learning, I think that it's really setting in that things are a little bit, different in how things are going to be over the next over the next month or even the next year or so, and the challenges that come along with that. And so, we've been actually running an e-learning pod, for a couple of months in addition to, helping with all of our after school students and that kind of, and, there's a couple of things that we're noticing that when parents are coming to us and asking us about our, e-learning program, and, are asking us about how it is that we've helped so many students, during this time to be able to succeed virtually. And, the challenge, there's a couple of things that are occurring. So number one, parents are complaining to us, talking about how their kids aren't learning when they're at home, doing e-learning. And, obviously, you have any conversation with a parent right now, and it's harder for parents to both work and to do things, with the kids and help them with their e-learning, even if the parent is working from home. And then, of course, having no social interaction and having, no activities for the kids is, causing them, even more stress, because they're not getting that outlet for energy and for social interaction. Humans are social beings, and that's one of the key components that, going to school or doing after school activities, or, being part of a church community, or even an extended family, provides that outlet for children to be able to experience interaction with other. We crave that in our bones. And I got to tell you, man, it's been kind of a tough thing to see some kids that have come in. And I'll tell you, one of the interesting things that we saw, and maybe you saw this too, is that sometimes we have kids coming in to, coming to class once we restarted back in May, and the littler guys would not even know not even be able to know their name. They are not, sometimes you'd say, hey, and, let's say, Johnny, or hey, Manny, and they wouldn't even make eye contact with you, or they wouldn't hear you, or, something along those lines, because, for whatever reason, it's just, they got out of the habit of people, I guess, communicating with them in that way, or even in making eye contact, or even just turning around and listening for their name. It was kind of a strange experience, but not uncommon. And think of it this way: when you are under stress, and we talk about this kind of thing with our self-defense students all the time, but your brain goes through a shutdown, because your brain's number one job when it's under stress, because your brain doesn't understand the difference between when someone's trying to hurt you versus, the stress. Hey, there's the general stress of a global pandemic, or, hey, I got a test at school, or my boss is giving me a hard time, or anything like that. Your brain doesn't really tell the difference, and your brain kind of responds the same way. Your brain is an incredible machine, which is designed to keep you alive, right? It's designed to protect you. And so there's a lot of things that it does that you often don't realize it's doing, because it's trying to protect you. Some of those things are creating self-limiting beliefs that keep us from our success. And other things are are chemical, reactions that actually prevent us from, doing things like remembering things. When we have cortisol dumping into our system and our upper brain function starts shutting down, it's difficult for us to remember things. I mean, have you ever been under stress and then started forgetting stuff, or like started making mistakes or making simple mistakes that you normally wouldn't do? Well, that's because your brain under stress is not going to, it's long-term memory storage, because in theory, if you were under the stress of death, like somebody trying to hurt you, your brain wouldn't need to remember, your math, your math experience from the 5th grade. You know what I mean? And so is it any wonder that kids who have been under stress, because even if we're keeping it fun, sometimes they still pick up on the things that we do, or they're hearing about how we're going to do things at school, or they were at school and then all of a sudden pulled out, or, somebody was exposed at school and they have to quarantine for 2 weeks. That can be, one of those things that creates stress for them. And unfortunately, we're seeing that, pick up with people. And so even in the e-learning situation, where now it's even heightened, because there's not just the learning, there's the technology on top of it, because you can't tell me that that's not been a stressful experience for both parents and children, because it's a stressful thing for me with my own kids who are e-learning. And, it's causing a lot of challenges. So I actually have a report that we put together that's 5 tips for remote learning. If you want it, just drop tips in the comment section. I'll be happy to hook you up with it. It's free. It's my gift to you. I'm not going to ask anything in return for it. Hey, buddy, I'm not going to ask anything, in return for it. But I want you to use it if you need it. And the interesting thing is, how do we help them, to overcome those things? Well, like I said, kids aren't learning. Well, how are we going to help kids learn? Well, we need to help create that atmosphere, to de-stress them. We need to, how parents, making it hard for parents to work and do e-learning. There are, talk to the teacher about what kind of flexibility can we have on submissions, because not always does it need to be submitted right away, maybe, that kind of stuff. And then last, with the social interaction, there's always opportunities. Like, for example, like our martial arts program, for parents that need something for their kids, we have a great martial arts program that they can come to. But we also have virtual options. And, there are plenty of other programs, if martial arts isn't your thing, where that is available as well. Just like with our Life Mastery program. Our Life Mastery program is a learning and leadership and coaching program, and it doesn't even involve martial arts. In general, puts you on the health and fitness and all kinds of stuff like that. So, like I said, my gift to you is the 5 tips for remote learning. Just drop tips in the comment section. I'll be happy to send it to you. And I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your Thursday. We're about to wrap classes up in the other room. That's why I'm shooting from my office. And I will see you guys next time. Have a powerful day, guys.